Did Qwen 3 Coder just beat out Claude 4 Sonnet and Kimi K2? But first, let's look at the power of Qwen 3. Qwen 3 was able to make this visualizer where fireworks are generated based on where your mouse goes. Not only that, they were also able to generate an entire word count per minute by having words to type, and it counts that up. And look at the UI, it's very clean and refreshing. But not only that, they're even able to make games. Even though we see a lot of these with Gemini, ChatGPT, and a lot of their demos, this one is pretty cool to see, where they're able to make a game that's pretty unique, where you basically have these two dots and you can't hit the blocks, but they're stuck on that one axis. And I know you've seen a lot of the hexagon ball spinning examples. This one I think is a little bit innovative. It's a bouncing ball and a rotating hypercube, where basically it's like a 3D visualization and it's constantly bouncing. I think that's a good play on the hexagon polygon challenge that a lot of people do for these new models, and Qwen 3 did it pretty well. But not only that, they recreated Flappy Birds, which in its day made over $1 million just to make this, and people bought it in mass production, and now people can make this with Qwen 3 Coder, which is absolutely amazing. Not only that, they also have this 3D Earth Terra visualization, and it's freaking cool. It looks really good. It almost looks like something you would see off of a movie, some type of VFX. But not only that, they have some more simulations where they have this animated weather card where you can make whatever weather you may want. And they have this solar system simulation where you can set solar system and different planets going around it. And these are the examples that Qwen actually put out themselves. But later on in the video, we'll see what the community also has to offer when they got their hands dirty with Qwen 3 Coder. Because there's always a difference between what the actual makers of AI can make and what the community can also make, to see if it actually aligns. But let's look at some data to see how good it stacks against, well, other AIs. Well, we see this from the Sweetbench verified. We see that Qwen 3 Coder beats out Kimi K2 with, you see that it has 67 and 69% when it comes to, well, how accurate it actually is when it comes to the actual performance of the model. And it's right neck and neck with Sonnet 4 and Claude Sonnet 4 for the 68%, where it's neck and neck. Where you see Qwen 3 Coder is just a little less than Claude Sonnet. And then they even try to rerun it 500 turns to see how well it does. And we see that it actually got a higher result after the 500, but it doesn't quite actually beat out Claude Sonnet 4 for the win. But what it does do is it's right there. It's neck and neck. It's 69.6% where Claude is 70.4%. But guess what? They are using a smaller model. So meaning that even though it's not actually quite yet beating out Claude, it's using a smaller model size where Claude is in the 100 or the 1,000 billions of parameters in order to get these results. And we see that Qwen 3 Coder is somewhere in the 500, definitely less than the 1,000 billion parameter model. So to get similar results, they're able to actually use less, which is absolutely crazy. But not only that, they also released Quad 4 Coder Instruct, which is a powerful open agentic coding model. This model has a mixture of experts and natively supports 256k context and scales up to 1 million contexts. But not only that, we know that Gemini has their Gemini CLI, and well, Qwen also released their own CLI. They said alongside the model, they're also open sourcing a command line tool for agentic coding, Qwen Code, forked from Gemini Code, which is funny. It includes custom prompts and functions call protocols to fully unlock Qwen 3 Coder's capability. Qwen 3 Coder works seamlessly with the community's best developer tools. As a foundation model, they said they hope it can be used anywhere across the digital world. And it's absolutely insane if you ask me. But not only that, let's get into the examples of people using Qwen 3. And of course, we have the classic Polygon challenge. and it looks pretty good, but this is nothing impressive because we've seen almost every AI be able to do this, at least the top 5 for sure. And this is one where the guy shows an example of what the CLI Qwen kind of looks like on your terminal. And somebody also made a Qwen app where it's kind of like the tower starts to fall, which is an amazing simulation. Not only that, somebody made a car simulator one shot with Qwen 3 coder, where even though you see that it kind of goes off into like other world where it's not really colored and filled in, this is really good for a one-shot AI app. But one person also put a side-by-side comparison of Qwen 3 coder with the exact same task, and they said the similarities between Claude's output and Qwen's output was really kind of similar. Maybe there's rumors around that a lot of these other apps are using other AI apps to learn to make their apps better, especially if they're open sourcing stuff or giving out information. Or maybe they're just getting the output from these other AIs and using those outputs as training data for their models, which would give their models a similar look and feel to, well, some of the best AI models out here. But tell me what you think. Do you think that these new AI models are, well, a game changer? And are you going to use this over Claude 4 Sonnet and Kimi K2? Or are you kind of safe side and you're like, yeah, okay, but nothing beats Claude 4 Sonnet, especially when it comes to these coding tasks? I think definitely Gemini and ChatGPT kind of have a run for their money when it comes to how well these open source as well as these cheaper free can have locally on your computer. Because think about it, these models are on a Hugging Face and a lot of other places, and a lot of times you can use it however you want versus these closed source models. So even if you can't beat the big models when it comes to the performance, you can kind of beat them in other areas when it comes to how free it is, how easy it is to access, as well as we see a lot of times people make forks of these models and can make sometimes like not safe for work models. We see how Grok 4 is so unhinged. It can do any, even had like a little bit of a, well, breakdown when it comes to it speaking on Twitter about things that you probably shouldn't be talking about. Even with that, it's cool to see that you have more models that can do a lot more, because I'm not sure about you, but with ChatGPT lately, it does seem like it's a little bit too restrictive, where a Qwen 3, you can do whatever you want, however you want to. Leave your comments down in the comment section down below and tell me what you think. That being said, your boy Dex, not Dexter, out.